Hi, my name is Josh, and I am the HR director for the Sisters of Providence here in St. Mary of the Woods, Indiana. We're very excited to have received your application. We're excited to find the right person to fill this super important role at the Sisters. It's actually a very important role, even though it's just a part-time receptionist. In many cases, you'll be answering phones, you'll be responding to emails, and so it's a high level of communication, but oftentimes you'll be the first face that people associate with the Sisters. For those who come and walk into the conference center, you would be the representative for the Sisters of Providence. So we're trying to find the right person with the right skill set to be a receptionist, but we're also trying to find the right person to fit with the organization, to fit with who the Sisters are. So with that in mind, I'd love to just ask you a few questions about yourself, and we can go from there. I guess the first question is pretty simple. I'd love for you to just tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what attracts you to this position.
Sure. My name is Jennifer, as I'm sure you see on my resume. I am a college student at the Woods through the online program. And actually, I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 17 years. So now that my children are a little older, a little more independent, it was kind of time for mom to figure out what she wanted to do when she grew up. So I was really excited to see this position open. I'm wanting to get back into, more of an office environment in the workforce. And I really love any position that has customer service and interaction with people on a daily basis.
The next question is kind of similar to the first. The Sisters of Providence is a very specific organization. It has a long and rich history. I'm wondering what draws you specifically to work with the Sisters of Providence.
Yeah, I mentioned, I'm a first year college student. I am actually going for my my bachelor's degree in business administration with the hope of going back for my master's in leadership, because my ultimate goal is to be involved with a nonprofit organization. I would really love to be able to start my own nonprofit organization. So I really feel like I could learn so much from the sisters and all of the great causes that they work for and fight tirelessly for. I had actually already had the goal of applying for an internship with the sisters when I got a little further along in my studies, and so I almost feel like this position opening right now is maybe an act of providence in itself. So many of their causes are ones that are near and dear to my heart as well. For instance, the fight against human trafficking, immigration reform, as well as so many of the things that they're involved with, their good work with the White Violet Center. I'm just excited would love to be a part of this organization and help in any way I can and learn what I can along the way.
I think that there are a lot of challenges that would come with this position, including having to work with a lot of different types of people. Sometimes, if you get a phone call from China, it can be from a person in China, it can be difficult to understand that person. So you have to really work well in a variety of communication settings. I wonder if you could tell me about a time where you had to use your communication skills to overcome a challenge.
Sure. My current position actually is I'm a driver's ed instructor, which, as you can imagine, involves a lot of communication with my students, with their parents, with my fellow instructors. But specifically, we had a student very recently who had originally been assigned to a different instructor, and their first drive did not go well at all. In fact, it was kind of everything that could go wrong went wrong, up to and including, and probably honestly the cause of a lot of the problems being they did not get along. They just did not see eye to eye on anything. And so the student was reassigned to me as his instructor. And knowing how badly the first drive had gone, I really wanted to get a feel for what I was, walking into. And so I first got the other instructor's side of things, what her story was. And then I sat down with the student before we ever got in the car to find out his view of what happened. As you can imagine, being in a situation like that where the instructor and student aren't getting along in a car can be very dangerous. And I didn't want to, put anybody in harm's way. And so I sat down with him, found out what exactly he thought had gone wrong with the first one. And amidst the conversation, I found out that he has an anxiety disorder and a behavioral disorder. And so I was able to do some research into the issues that he faces, the things that he struggles with. I was able to find out, really the best ways of handling that. And so one of the things that I did is I sat down with him every time before we went out on a drive. I explained to him exactly what skills we were covering, where we were going, what types of situations we were likely to encounter, so that he could kind of prepare himself so that nothing was a big surprise for him. I worked on, being very positive with him, positive reinforcement all the way, telling him when he did really good, what skills he excelled at, where he was making appropriate decisions. When something came up where I had to correct a behavior, I, endeavored to be extremely patient. I would wait until we were, out of whatever situation and have him pull safely to the side of the road so that we could discuss what had happened. I explained to him, I showed him all the safety features in the car that are extra in driver's ed cars. Showed him my rear view mirror that I have for myself, the brake that I have, so that if there was ever an emergency, I was able to step in and help out, while at the same time letting him know that that was not any kind of a judgment on him, that this is a learning process. And I really think it went well. He progressed rapidly through his skills. He did amazing on his driving test, passed with no points being deducted. And so I think it was a really, a positive outcome for something that could have been much worse.
With that in mind, I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about some of your greatest strengths.
Sure. I would say probably coincidentally that communication, interpersonal skills, customer service skills are really my greatest strengths. There aren't many people that I meet that I can't get along with. I really love learning about people, getting to know them, hearing their stories, and, being able to help them out in any way that I can. So really, I think that's, some of the biggest reasons why I would be such a good fit for this position.
And on the flip side of that coin, maybe if you could talk about maybe some weaknesses, some things that you're trying to improve in your life.
Sure. Going along, I kind of think it's the other side of the same coin, like you said, that I do love people and I love helping them. I love interacting with them. And so I tend to be a bit of a people pleaser. Also, I don't handle confrontation well. And so those two things often kind of pair up together to make it very difficult for me to say no to things. And so I tend to take on more tasks than what I can reasonably or successfully handle. And then I get overwhelmed and, it's not a good outcome. And so what I've been trying to do to overcome these challenges is, first of all, putting together a schedule for myself that I can stick to, setting boundaries so that I know exactly what amount of tasks, the number of tasks that I can handle successfully, and being firm with myself to say no if it's something that I just, I'm not able to handle, or to ask for help when that's necessary.
Just a few more questions and we're almost done. It's been a really challenging season. We've all come through a global pandemic and it has upended our lives in so many ways. I wonder if you could talk about maybe something you've learned about yourself over the last year and a half navigating a pandemic like this.
For sure, it has been difficult, but I think the most important lesson that I've learned is I'm so much stronger and more capable than I could have thought previously. Being able to handle lost income, illnesses in our family, bouts of depression and anxiety from being confined to home for so much time. And while at the same time keeping up with the necessary demands of being a mom and having a family and keeping everybody else going through their problems and their issues that they're having. And so it was really me being able to not only face and deal with these challenges, but I feel like succeed in a way I wouldn't have known possible, that helped push me to make the decision that I could go back to school, that I could handle that, and really be able to succeed and excel as a non-traditional student, and then later on, in a nonprofit sector where I can really make a change for better in this world.
These have been great answers, and we're very excited to get to know you better, and we really appreciate your application. Before we go, I just wonder if you have any final questions for me.
Actually, I do. I would really love to hear about the causes that the sisters are involved with that mean the most to you as, personally, and how you've been inspired by working with them since you've been a part of the organization.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to talk to you, and we wish you the absolute best. We hope to contact all applicants within the next week and let you know if you will move on in the process. Thanks so much.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John.